So it's my pleasure to introduce our speakers for today. Nicolas Junard, OneAtlas Marketing Manager, who will introduce our webinar today, and Leonetti, Product Manager, who will present OneAtlas data, and lastly, Hervé Alliot, GIS Expert, that will present a use case for using ArcGIS. I'll now hand the floor to Nicolas Junard.
Thank you. Welcome, everyone. I'm Nicolas Junard, Marketing Manager for OneAtlas. It's a great pleasure to have you with us today for the first webinar about OneAtlas, where we provide an overview of the OneAtlas platform and dive more into the details of our OneAtlas data service. The OneAtlas platform is composed of four main pillars. First one is data and analytics. OneAtlas is your single access point to satellite imagery and value-added layers, which we'll be talking about today. As well, analytics capabilities based on machine learning, such as change detection, are available through the platform. Thematic services, digital services providing industry-specific insight for precision agriculture, forestry, maritime surveillance, and much more. As well, we have software. OneAtlas will enable you to do large-scale image processing for 2D automosaicing and 3D modeling. Finally, partnerships. OneAtlas is a collaborative platform. We are working with partners to bring their services to our platform, with the goal of enriching OneAtlas with analytics and other geospatial services to better serve your needs. Our goal is to make OneAtlas your one-stop shop for everything from premium satellite imagery to dependable business insight. As I mentioned today, our focus is on OneAtlas data, the first pillar of our digital services.
Thank you very much. And now handing over to our next speaker, Leonetti, Product Manager. Lisan, over to you.
Thank you, Jill. Hello, everyone. Thank you for participating today to our webinar. I am Leonetti, Product Manager at Airbus Defence and Space Intelligence, and today I am going to present you our OneAtlas data services and focus on the Living Library product. For a long time, accessing data has been difficult. You have a brilliant idea that can add value to your organization or our world. You want to test your idea, but you don't know if it worth all the cost and all the waiting. You need a reliable and trustworthy provider, but you also need your data quickly and easily. We hear you, and we have designed our OneAtlas data services with you in mind. OneAtlas data is a unique place for quick and easy access to updated imagery and layers at your fingertips, all in one place. In this unique place, access our different data services. Based on Airbus constellation of imagery, the Living Library enables access to fresh images within seconds, and it is delivered in multiple and flexible ways. On top of imagery, you can access value-added layers, such as the base map, a worldwide layer made from our highest grade satellite imagery, constantly refreshed. As well, you can access real-time streaming or digital elevation model. Lastly, you can access analytics capacities through the change detection service, and it lets you spot infrastructure changes, including roads, houses, earthworks, and buildings. As well, you will hear about the new analytics capacities with our Earth Monitor services soon enough. Today, the focus is on the Living Library. It provides you with an immediate access to our digital library of imagery. You will find Pleiades imagery at 50 cm resolution, as well as spot imagery at 1.5 meter resolution. This is just the beginning, and soon more data will be available in our Living Library. It is the product launch, and the Living Library is a product constantly evolving. So what is the Living Library in a nutshell? First, it is fresh premium archive, accessible through annual subscription. This new pricing model is much more flexible for you and will allow you to pay only for what you need or you consumed. You don't have to worry anymore about minimum order size. This data is accessible in multiple delivery and formats options. You can access it in streaming and download according to your preferences or through a unique subscription. And lastly, you can easily integrate our APIs into your own workflow. Let's now focus on the content. The heat maps gives you an overview of our current available contents. We have a lot of images over North America, Europe, Middle East, and Asia. As I mentioned, Living Library is constantly evolving. We ingest thousands of images daily, and we are currently densifying South America and Africa areas. So the Living Library is about fresh data, globally ingested every day. There is more than 2 years of archive worldwide, but soon enough you will be able to access our 30 years of archive through our catalog search. The selection criterions of ingestion are the following. For Pleiades data, we ingest images with 15% maximum cloud cover and 30-degree maximum incidence angle. For spot data, we have a 5% maximum cloud cover and 20-degree maximum incidence angle. So now let's go for the flash question number 1.
Thank you very much, Lison. And on your screen, you will see our first quick poll question. Which region are you most interested in acquiring data over? And simply by using your mouse and clicking on the dials, the radio dials against each of those options, please select all that apply. And remember to click submit at the bottom. I can see we're already up to over 50% of you have voted, so we'll just leave this poll open for a couple more moments to allow the remainder of you to vote, and then we'll close the poll and share the results with you. Thank you very much. I'm going to be closing the poll in about a couple of seconds. Thank you very much. And Lison, the results are there for you on the screen.
Okay, so we have a neat preference for Europe. So thank you very much for these interesting results. So let's move on to the rest of the webinar. Thank you. In the Living Library, access up-to-date and relevant information when you need it. Over our example on San Diego, you can access the Living Library and search for images based on your needs. You can sort images by date or cloud cover, but you have much more filters to play with. And then you can select the image over your area of interest that fits to your needs. Once you're happy with your choice, you can just view the image in streaming by clicking on the eye icon. And then you can just zoom in and explore and access a great level of details. You can access boats, cars, parking lots, buildings, airplanes, infrastructures, roofs, and much more. Then you can just very simply copy the streaming link to work in your GIS tool. Lastly, on clicking on the eye icon, you can access the image information. We are now over Tokyo Harbor, so you can simply draw an area of interest, but you can as simply upload yours. Search in the Living Library and select the image that fits your need, stream it, and again, just within a few seconds, you can access a really great level of details. Then, you can also choose to process it according to your preferences. You choose the processing option that fits to your need, the formats, accept the terms of the license, and ready to order. And then it will be ready to download in your workspace shortly after. With any Living Library subscription comes a wide range of APIs. We propose all of these APIs through the Living Library, the first one being the Search API. It is a search tool based on search parameters. The second API we propose is a View API, the one that I showed you by clicking on the eye, and is a format optimized for screen display. The Download API is an API allowing you to process on the cloud your image and then to download it from the cloud. The currently available processing option that we propose is a bundle reflectance JPEG 2016 bits and the bundle display GeoTIFF 8 bits. But as I mentioned, the product is constantly evolving, and soon enough we will have a wider range of processing options. These are the three currently available APIs, but wait and see, we will also launch very soon the Pixel for Analytics API. It is an API designed by Airbus especially for developers. This API allows you to access all the images in the library and to process it on the fly in different possible formats, including 4 bands, 12 and 16 bits, and to access information at a pixel level without having to actually download it. This API has been designed especially for developers, but we propose the same features with the WCS API, the coverage API, which is the OGC standard and allows you the same functionalities accessible through a GIS. We have also the tasking API, which allows you to task the satellite based on one tasking services, but this time with a cloud delivery on OneAtlas data customer workspace. All our APIs are included in our software development kit. This kit allows you to access our APIs for easy integration in application development. It will allow you to gain time and to easily develop web and mobile applications. We have all the API to address your needs that you might have. Now let's go for the flash question number 2.
Thank you very much, Lisan. And our next flash question is, what type of access fits your needs? And just select one of the following. Just by clicking with your mouse on the radio dial against the most appropriate answer and remembering to click Submit at the bottom. Votes coming in really quickly. So again, we'll just leave this open momentarily to allow everyone to vote. And then again, we will close the poll and share the results with you. Thank you for your responses. I'm now going to close the poll and share the results. And Lisan, you can see those results up on the screen.
Okay, so great. We have a neat preference for the View API and Download API. So this is very interesting. Thank you very much for your answers. So now let's move on to the next slide, which is about our developer portal. In our developer portal, access all the information you need to build on our APIs and SDK. You can access different sections. We are now in the tutorials section, where you can find all the information to easily search, view, and download. We propose different languages. We propose Shell, JavaScript, and Python, and you can very easily just copy the code and paste it into your own environment. As well, we propose a guide section where you can find all the information to easily use our data. In this example, we are in the Access Image Guide in the View service, and you have all the information to use it in a developer environment as well as in a GIS tool. In our developer portal documentation, we have documentation over QGIS as well as ArcGIS. In our developer portal, you will find all the information you need. The Living Library is the access to premium imagery for a wide range of use cases. You can use it for mission planning, urban planning, mapping, oil and gas. The possibilities are endless. Now that you know the product a little bit better, we are going to use it through simple use case. So in this use case, we are going to use streaming API through the web user interface over the use case of Istanbul Airport construction, which aims to be one of the largest in the world from February 2016 to September 2018. So we are now on the Istanbul area, loading the AOI and looking for images. So we have one from February 8th of 2016 where there is just the foundation of the construction. As we go through time, we can see images from May and detect slight changes. One from July, same year. One from September. And then we are switching to 2017 with an image from October where we can really detect the foundation of the airport. Another image from April 2018. And lastly, an image from September 2018 where we can clearly find the airport. So now let's move on to another use case.
Thank you very much. And we will now be handing over to our next speaker, Hervé Alliot, GIS expert, who will present a use case using ArcGIS. Hervé, over to you.
Okay, thanks, Jill. Hello, everybody. I'm pleased to present you the solution with the streaming in ArcGIS with a use case, a particular use case regarding the mining dam collapse that occurs during January this year in Brazil. So let's go. So with the solution, with OneAtlas data, you can load directly your area of interest and search for the living library for any imagery you need to have. So you can select the imagery before the dam collapse, copy the link directly, and create a WMTS access connections directly to ArcGIS Pro. You can do the same steps in QGIS or in ArcGIS ArcMap. So you have the solution, the connections created, and you can display directly on the map the images, the first images before and after the dam collapse. So we are searching now the image after the dam collapse. So we are looking the image, copy the link, and create a new connection in WMTS in ArcGIS Pro. So you set directly your username with the APA key, and you can drag and drop directly on your map the second image. So now we have the image before the dam collapse and the image after the dam collapse. So we are looking to the location. And now you can see directly the images provided by the WMTS directly in ArcGIS Pro. So we can switch directly between the two images, before and after the dam collapsed, and we can see on the image the disaster. So we rename the layers. So we see before and now after. So after that, we can zoom directly on the map to measure the length of the dam. Okay, this is this one. This is the dam that has been crashed. So we can measure the height of the dam too with the ArcGIS Pro tool and see the eye. And after, we can have a look to the topography. So based on the yes, on all the data, we can see and compare before and after the dam collapsed. And we can now have a look to measure the area of the collapse hole in the dam. So we can see this information highlighted. And now we can zoom out and see all the mud river created by the dam collapse from the dam hole to the end of the river. So all the earth comes from the little hill on the right of the dam and dragged after. So we can see the mud river of more than 8 kilometers. So thank you for this, for viewing this use case. So now I let the show go on with another presenter, with Lisa.
Thank you very much, Hervé. And as Hervé mentioned, we are now moving back to Lison to continue the presentation.
Thank you. So now that you know a bit more about the product and its use cases, now let's talk about the pricing model. We are now switching to a subscription pricing mode, which is much more flexible, and our offers are starting from 1,200 euros. Living Library is constantly evolving. It was launched recently, and currently we propose view streaming subscriptions and download options to add on. But we hear our customers and we want the more flexibility for you. So in a few weeks, you will be able to access gigabyte packages that will give you much more flexibility in terms of consumption. We have different levels of offers, and we start with a Discover package of 1 gigabyte that will allow you to access up to 1,900 square kilometers at Pleiades resolution, and download options with the access of up to 210 square kilometers at Pleiades resolution. Of course, through this gigabyte package, you can access also spot image, and as I mentioned, soon more sensors will be added to these subscription packages. We offer also a starter package of 4 gigabytes, a standard package of 10 gigabytes, an advanced package of 30 gigabytes, and lastly, a custom package according to your needs. This model will allow a lot of flexibility for your consumption, and as I said during the API presentation, we will add other APIs to access data in a different modes. For the moment, we will propose the view and download access, but soon enough, you will have also access to the Pixel for analytics as well as WCS API through one unique subscription. Now, let's see about the licensing. The Living Library standard license is very simple. It's a temporary term for streaming. There is no seats notion anymore. The product, so the image containing pixels, as well as value-added products, remains internal, but derivative works are owned by the customer. So what are the key benefits for you? First of all, it is quick and easy. Very easily, you can go to our portal and just select the subscription that fits to your need, and as I showed earlier, within a few seconds, access and streaming any image over the world. You pay only for what you need. So of course you need to buy a subscription, but within the subscription package, you will pay only for what you consumed, and you don't have to worry anymore about paying for useless data. Then it is fresh. We have every day thousands of new images. And lastly, it is flexible. If you want to start with a small package, you can. And if you want to upgrade, you can just do it very easily. It is the same. If you are not sure about streaming or download, you can just start with the streaming and then use a download as you go. To find out more about our product, just try our free trial. It is not limited to Living Library only. It is for OneAtlas data. For the Living Library, you can select up to 3 areas to stream from 12 different locations, and you can access it in View Streaming. You can as well access to change detection sample reports, access to WordM relief map in 2D, and access the base map layer. This free trial will be valid for 30 days. So you can go now on oneatlas.airbus.com to very easily request your free trial. Now let's go with the flash question number 3.
Thank you very much. And on your screen, you will see our final question for you for today. How do you learn about the new products and services offered by Airbus? And you can just select one of those options and remembering to click submit at the bottom. You can see the votes are coming in nice and quickly today. Already over 50% of you have voted. And again, we'll be closing this momentarily, so just one more moment for you to put your responses in, and then we'll close that and share the results. Thank you very much. I'm now going to close that and share the results. And Lisa, you can see the results on the screen there.
Thank you, Jill. Okay, so again, a neat preference for email and website. Great, so thank you very much for this very useful information. So now a bit of teaser. So there is much more to come. As we said in the beginning, this is just the beginning, the launch of the OneAtlas platform. So stay tuned because it will continue to evolve. I'd like to tell you about upcoming opportunities, including a developer webinar in April that will provide more information on our API access, as well as the Pixel for Analytics API that has been designed especially for developers. So today we went through the web user interface as well as a GIS tool. So for the developer webinar, we'll talk more about developer environment. As well, as I mentioned, a new service called Earth Monitor will be released in the coming weeks. This new service will provide unique analytics capabilities with infrastructure changes, mobile assets, car counting, and much more, so stay tuned. We will also be launching an opportunity to get access to free Living Library subscriptions in the coming weeks as well. So make sure that to be aware of it, you sign up for the OneAtlas news at oneatlas.airbus.com, and you can subscribe to our updates at the bottom of the page. So you can discover what the OneAtlas platform can do for you, sign up for a free trial, and prepare to have fun and be amazed. So we look forward to serving you. And thank you for listening today our webinar. So it is now over. So we are now ready for the Q&A session.
Thank you very much, Lisan. And as Lisan mentioned, we are now going to begin answering the questions that you've submitted so far. You can still send your questions in through your questions pane on your attendee control panel. And our first question here today from Mark. Mark is asking, is radar data available?
Thank you, Jill. This is Nicholas speaking. Well, radar with TerraSAX data will be integrated later on this year on OneAtlas, so it will be as well available along with Spot and Pleiades as mentioned by Lisan today.
Thank you very much. And moving on to our next question here from Nikita. What is the difference between the current Airbus Geostore and OneAtlas?
Hi, hello. So the main difference between Geostore and OneAtlas data, first of all, is the streaming access. And secondly, Geostore is a product, an access that we have for years, and OneAtlas data is only launching. But soon enough, we will also integrate the same capacities into OneAtlas data and upgrade it. So for the moment, you have Pleiades and Spot into the Living Library and OneAtlas data, but I mentioned also WorldDem streaming and the base map. And soon enough, we will integrate all our offer from Geostore into OneAtlas data. If I can resume in just two differences, OneAtlas data offer you streaming options as well as the removal of the minimum order size. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And a question from David. Do we have to pay for the full image or can we pay for a subset of pixels?
Well, for Living Library and for the image, you don't have to pay for the full image. There is no, as mentioned by Lisan, there is no minimum order size. So you can really select a 0.1 square kilometers image and just pay for that section and take it from your subscription. So it's really easy. You can monitor a lot of areas.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for your response there. Our next question from Bridget. Bridget is asking, what is the holdback time on the newly collected imagery before it's available via the platform?
Thank you for the question. Well, the images are pretty fresh. We are ingesting the data pretty much every day, and the holdback time should be between 24 to 48 hours. So it should be pretty quick, and we are improving, of course, the ingestion time and the availability for our customers as we are moving on. But it will be pretty fresh, so you can expect to have images pretty quickly.
Thank you very much, Nicholas. A question here from Leonardo. Leonardo is asking, what do you mean in the license, the product and value-added products are internal?
Hi, Leonardo. Thank you for the question. So regarding licensing, basically there are three concepts. So the product is the actual satellite imagery you buy. So it contains pixels and metadata. And when you buy a Living Library subscription, you actually buy a license to use this data. And so the access to pixels remains at the licensee. So it means that you cannot share with your end users this product containing pixels and metadata. The same logic applies to value-added products, which is satellite imagery with value-added information on top of it. And in opposition, a derivative work is information extracted from the image, and it doesn't contain pixels anymore. So this is our current licensing model, but we are currently working on a smart licensing model that will allow you to have more rights based on your needs. So I hope this answered to your question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And a question from David. Is the optical data available to download through the Living Library in primary and or other processing levels?
Thank you for the question, Jill. That's well, for now, all the download will be in auto. So primary will not be available for now, but it will be made available in the coming months. This is a solution we are working on. As mentioned, it will only be through auto on OneAtlas in the coming months. But of course, will make more and more distinctive option in terms of processing available to our customers.
Thank you very much. How fresh will the Pleiades data be in the Living Library? Was that 1 week, 1 month, 1 year?
So as I mentioned before, so the image will be pretty fresh, and we will have up to 2 years, even more, of archive available around the world in Pleiades. So we will increment more and more data in the future. And there will be fresh images constantly updated.
Thank you very much. And a question here from Hélène. Hélène is asking, it's regarding the licensing and the 1 year subscription. Obviously, you'll be able to download, but could a downloaded image be used after the subscription has ended?
Thank you, Helen, for the question. Very interesting. So yes, you're absolutely right. So we make now a difference between streaming, which is a temporary access, and the download, where you actually have the right to use it perpetually. So of course, if you download an image within your subscription, you are allowed to use it afterwards, which is not the case with the streaming.
Thank you very much. And a question here from Martin. Is it allowed to download the picture and publish them as a service in my on-premise environment again?
So thank you, Martin, for the question. If you have downloaded the image, this is the end user license which is applies. So yes, you will be able to use that image again if it corresponds to your license term.
Thank you. And a quick question here from Jeremy. Jeremy is asking, is there any commitment on the refresh of a given location?
All right, Jeremy, thank you for the question as well. Good question. No, we don't have commitment on refresh on a given location. If you are looking for commitment in terms of specific location or as a global, I would say, layer, we commit with our base maps. So we commit with a refresh rate for the base map layer, but not for Living Library. It's if you want to be able to retrieve the data on a frequent basis, then you will have to use our one tasking service.
Thank you very much. And a question from Alan. You mentioned that other data will be added to the Living Library. Could you give some more information on that?
Hi, Alan. Of course. So we have an ambitious roadmap, and as mentioned by Nicolas, first of all, we will integrate radar data. So we will have both optical and radar options in the Living Library, but that's not all. We also plan to add open source data. And as well, we are planning on adding other sources of data that I cannot reveal now, but stay tuned. This is really our ambition to have more and more data added into the living library. So thank you.
Thank you very much. A question here from Cara. It's again regarding subscription. Do we need to define the AOIs first? Once defined, does it limit us to only the AOIs that we've defined, or can we navigate the living library even though we don't have a defined AOI?
Hi. So no, you don't have to define an AOI. So basically, when you buy a living library subscription, you have access to the world. Up to you to work only on your area of interest, but you are not limited on this AOI. So you have a package of data that you can consume as you want, and you can consume anywhere. So this is up to your choice to stay on your area of interest only, on to go on the other areas.
Thank you very much. And a question from Heidi. Can you set up an alert if new imagery gets added over your area of interest?
So thank you for the question. Pretty interesting. Yes, it will be possible in the very near future. This feature is not yet available on OneAtlas, but yes, you will be able to set up alerts for on your specific AOIs, register your AOIs, and as well, I would like to add that we will have a mobile app available for OneAtlas users, for one who has subscribed, where they will be able to as well manage their AOI and check our content and catalog.
Thank you very much. And a question here from John. Can you explain again what the Pixel 4 analytics is?
Yeah, sure. So the Pixel for Analytics API is actually an API that will allow you to process images from the library on the cloud. So you don't have to download the data to process it and to run algorithm on it. You can just simply do it with the Pixel for Analytics API. So if you want to find out more about this API, stay tuned for the developer webinars that will explain it more in details. And when it will be released, you will be informed, and according documentation will be published on the developer portal. So if you want really a best overview of the APIs, you can go on the developer portal to find all the information you need. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A question here from Remy. Is it possible to use OneAtlas for heap volume computation estimation, for example, as in mining?
Yes, thank you for the question. Yes, of course, you will be able to use any data to make any computation or analysis, or even to train your algorithm. So it will be up to you to use a download or a streaming option. For streaming, Pixel Phonics would be, I would say, would seem to be the appropriate way of processing, since you will be able to access to the pixel level. So that's something that will be pretty interesting for you. But as well, all the download part, you can access really quickly to the images. So of course you can run any analysis on those data.
Wonderful, thank you very much. A quick question here about how do you know how much of your package has been consumed? And that was from Heidi.
Thank you, Heidi, for the question. Well, of course, you will be able to monitor the consumption. You have a specific tab within OneAtlas where you can access to your consumption, and you can track and follow this consumption based on your subscription.
Thank you. A question here is from Sven. Is it possible to use JSON shapefiles to define the AOIs?
Hello. Yes, of course, these formats are supported.
Thank you very much. And a final question here from Dustin. What is Earth Monitor? Could you explain that?
Yes, thank you, Jill. So Earth Monitor is going to be a new service that we be able to provide some analysis thanks to machine learning on change detection, monitoring, for example, mobile assets, land use, and infrastructure. So that's a new service that will be coming up pretty soon, and we will, of course, provide a webinar for customers and partners in the coming weeks. So stay tuned on that.
Thank you. Question in here from Michael. We've had so many questions in today. From Michael asking is interested in light pollution. Do you have night data in the data bank?
So thank you, Michael, for the question. I'm sorry, but we know we do not provide night data. So satellite only taking imagery during the day. So no, unfortunately, we won't be able to provide data for taken at nighttime.
Thank you very much. And that is all the questions that we have time for. Got one last one in here. A question from Mark. Mark is saying, I observed in the webinar that each AOI had a pricing per area, whereas the subscription packages are based on volume. Therefore, what was the purpose of the price?
Okay, thank you, Mark. Yes, you're right. So we have put a price tag here. So this we will. Of course, to demonstrate the price and along with the weight when you will be taking the image. So you need to know the weight. The weight indication will be implemented in the coming days. So this is why when we have made the presentation here, this is not have been put, but this will be in place, of course, for your subscription.
Thank you very much. So we've got a question from Cara. Where can we find the costs per subscription? And that's from a reseller.
So if you're a reseller with us, you can just contact our reseller team, and they will be happy to send you all the cost description. And we have made so we have already provided some information to our reseller community. But of course, you're more than welcome to contact us. You just contact your usual point of contact, or you can go to OneAtlasDatabase.com and submit a request. We will, of course, answer to all your questions and your requirements regarding the subscription.
And a question from Leonardo. Who can we contact for further questions?
So for any further question, again, you just can go on OneAtlasDatabase.com, sorry, and contact us. You can request, for example, any question there as well. You can contact us. At the end, we will send you a link, an email address that you can contact for any further request.
Thank you. And a question here from Marcel. Have you also considered a license dedicated for the universities for the future?
Hi, Marcel. Yes, so we have considered it. So really the ambition of OneAtlas Data is to democratize the access of satellite imagery. So of course we thought about it. So for the moment we have a simple licensing scheme with a standard license, but we are currently upgrading it to a smarter licensing mode based on your typical needs, and the academic needs are taken into consideration, and we are currently working on it.
Thank you very much. And we have a question here from Joe Keane. I'm currently on the Living Library viewer page looking at Pleiades imagery. The image seems comparatively blurred compared to what was shown in the demo earlier. Is that because I'm on a trial, or is it because it's not within the 12 cities that were included in the trial?
So even if you are on a trial, you can access to the entire catalog, but of course you will not be able to access to the full resolution of the image with a free trial in other areas than the one that has been defined for your free trial. So you should have chosen free areas. On those free areas, you can access to the full resolution imagery in streaming. But of course, if you're looking for any other area of interest or any other images outside those areas, then you won't be able to access to the full resolution.
Thank you very much. And I'm just having a quick scan down the questions, and I think that we have covered most of them. Nicholas, do you have any closing remarks before we wrap up today's session?
No, thank you everyone for your attendance today. If you have any question, just feel free to contact your sales manager or contact us through our website, oneatlas.airbus.com. We will make sure to answer to your request. As well, I invite you to go and try our free trial. Do not hesitate to come back with us with some feedback. And again, do not hesitate to contact us for any technical question in terms of integration for the API. As mentioned by Lison, if you have any technical information, any technical question, that you can then refer to our documentation developer portal, which is indicated into the OneAtlas database portal. So thank you again, and have a nice